I went for a ride up Stanley Street in Concord recently, and I saw some line markings on the road that I thought should be investigated or have a closer look. And that's because Stanley Street is part of the proposed East West Regional Cycleway, which is going to go from Concord to the Bay Run. And on our right there, we've got Concord Public School, and you can see there's the line markings at the pedestrian crossing, and I went back and had a closer look, which said to me that looks like they're going to be doing some upgrading work on this rather horrible looking old crossing. And yes, sure enough, if I went back and had a look at the plans for the east-west cycle route, and you can see they're going to upgrade the existing pedestrian crossing to a raised crossing and also put in some mid-block something or others. Now, just for reference, this is where we are. That's the section of Stanley Street we're looking at outside Concord Public. And the way people would normally get to it is right along Lyons Road West, then take this path around the back of St Luke's Oval, which is quite good. And that pops us out on Stanley Street at Concord High School. We cross Burwood Road, go past Concord Public, which is a primary school, through Queen Elizabeth Park. That gets you onto Patterson Street, and there you go, there's the route. Now, I spotted this sign as I was leaving, and I've noticed that the City of Canada Bay has stuck this up on all the schools, and I think it's a waste of time, because this is what the hierarchy of modes should look like, with walking on top and private motor vehicles down the bottom. And if we followed this, well, I think our streets would be pretty safe, and kids could walk to school, or ride to school, or scooter to school. But that's not what's happening in Stanley Street. It's essentially being left as it is, as you see today. They're putting in, like I said, they're upgrading that pedestrian crossing, and they're also putting in another crossing down at the end of the street here. It's going to be a ramp or whatever you call it to slow down traffic entering the street, and that's pretty much it. There's no intention to slow down traffic in the street, to make it a quiet, active street, to put in additional blister curves. And I often think when I look at Canada Bay proposals that they've got the hierarchy upside down, that they've actually put cars up the top and pedestrians down the bottom. They've just swapped them around. Now this is, I've shown this a few times before, this is a quiet, active street in Perth. And to me, this is the kind of thing, the kind of vision we should be looking at for streets like Stanley Street. Lower the speed to 30 kilometres an hour, because look, face it, speeds in that street shouldn't be more than 30 kilometres an hour. It's a quiet residential street that goes past two schools, not one, but two. It's got a park at the end as well. And it's not a busy street outside of school pick-up and drop-off zones time. So look at this. There's parking over on the left there, which is, black asphalt. And now there's more parking on the right, and they've moved it back and forth from side to side. And the street surface has been done in red asphalt, and what that does is it visually narrows the street so that drivers see this, and what they see is a narrow street, which naturally slows them down. They've also put in these big islands at all the intersections so that the traffic coming from all directions has to slow down. And there's islands spaced down the street on a regular basis, again to visually narrow the street and stop drivers from planting it and going down here at 100 kilometres an hour. And you can see again, this is a quiet residential street. Now that's how our residential streets should be. They should be calm and safe for everybody, so that it doesn't matter if you're a little kid or an old person, you can safely cross this street or even play in this street. There's no reason why you can't if there's no cars zooming up and down. Anyway, it's a bit of a disappointment that what's happening with Stanley Street. Look, it's good that the pedestrian crossing's being upgraded, but when you see how much more could be done, it's a bit of a downer, really.